founders and special and essential employees for making things bearable and livable for all of us. Thank you so much. I hope this all finds you happy and healthy and safe. Because we can't necessarily get together for a big group to have a beer, we like to do these on Thursday nights to have a virtual beer with somebody from the industry. Real quick, if you are looking for an amazing list of breweries near you to find out who's open, who has outdoor seating, whether they're pet friendly, make sure you check out my friend at Maryland Craft Beer. He's at mdcraftbeer.net. Kendrick has done an amazing job of putting together a wonderful database that is completely searchable. You can filter it and find out all kinds of great information about breweries near you that you can visit and do so with exactly what you're looking for. Also, the Brewers Association of Maryland, who is they do a lot with the local breweries to help them further their cause, work with the state, things like that. And they could really use your help. They're a nonprofit organization that, because of COVID, have not been able to have big festivals this year that are big fundraisers for them. And they could really use your help. If you can kick a couple bucks their way, they would greatly appreciate it. You can hit them up on PayPal at paypal.me/sofa-sippin. I will have that link in the show notes tomorrow. You can click on that and contribute directly to them. Whatever you would pay to go get a ticket to the festivals or even a 4-pack of beer, kick it their way. Help out some great people that are helping out great people here in Maryland at the breweries that you know and love. Let's see. I think that may be it. Oh, also, there's speaking of the Brewers Association, many breweries around the state are brewing special beers that help generate some additional contributions for the Brewers Association, and those are the Brew for BAM beers, and you can find them at brewforbam.beer. I'll also have that linked in the show notes tomorrow, but you can find out what breweries are producing those beers and where you can get them and when they'll be released. So check all that out in the show notes tomorrow on Frank About Beer on our Facebook page, and we'll have it all there. So now that is all out of the way, friends, speaking of great breweries around the state, ones that you love, one of the great ones that's been around Baltimore for a good long time now is Monument City Brewing. And it is no secret, I'm a fan of theirs and have been for a good long time. You see a lot of their cans on shelves, including their 51 Rye. You see Wood Stove out there, which is one of their stouts. Really, really solid beers that are consistently out there. Pagoda Pale Ale, one of my favorites. Of course, Nobo and Sobo for your IPA fans. All of those, just a great lineup of consistently wonderful beers. And friends, so when I'm able to talk about great beer, in one of these things, that's even better. But when I can get the person behind the beer, I love that even more. So friends, wanted to welcome tonight our special guest, Ken Prey, the co-owner of Monument City Brewing in Baltimore. Ken, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Hey, Christian, thank you. Good evening. Thanks for having us. We're big fans of yours as well. I think we've shared beers many, many years ago over in Sykesville, I think Market Tavern, a few other places out there. Yeah. So we appreciate what you're doing for local craft beer. It's a bit of a bright spot for us. We watch your show. During COVID, it's been challenging, but the support from people like you and others has been really motivating, and for us and others. So we appreciate that. So thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem. Well, we got to have some virtual beers. I need a beer. And we've got some amazing beers tonight that we're featuring, friends. Friends, let us know in the comments what you're drinking tonight, because we all got to share a beer while we're here. But we are featuring the 3 beers this evening from Monument City that I'm really super excited about. All these are brand new. So we're going down the line. We have Folk Fest, the new Marzen that was just released here for September, and Oktoberfest. Had some of that last night. Unbelievable. And we've got a couple great IPAs, including Skeleton Crew, the new triple IPA from Monument City. And let's see, we've got the other fun one is brand new canned just this week. I think, is Melody Caravan, another hazy IPA from Monument City. Ken, what do you think we should start with here?
Gotcha. I don't have Skeleton Crew with me. I brought Backpack Guy. Do you have Backpack Guy?
I do. Okay, I can swap that out.
One out only because Skeleton Crew's 10%, and after we drink.
Good call. So friends, the Backpack Guy just announced this morning on all of Monument City's social media is Backpack Guy. This is a hazy double IPA, 8%. And I was told about this one yesterday, and I can't wait to try that one. So
you're the first to get it, Christian. So it becomes available tomorrow. We've had pre-orders, but people pick it up tomorrow. So
I love it.
Let's go with the Meritzen.
Okay, that's good.
We'll work something malty into something maybe a little hoppy.
I love it. I love it.
So yeah, this is new. So all three of these beers are new. Obviously in this environment, we're trying to introduce some fun new things. Some things are brewery specific, meaning really won't make it out into distro, and then some of these are out into market. So our Folk Fest Meritzen is something that we did quite a bit of and are sending it out into market. It's the first year that we've done one of these, and we're really stoked. I think the last 3 years we've talked about doing one, just haven't found room for it. This year, we really wanted to make sure we got one out. And I love the artwork on this. This was done by a local artist, Marshall Adams, who does a lot of sign work in the city. He did a fantastic job, so we're really stoked to work with him. But this is really just a traditional German lager beer. Nice amber copperish color. A lot of kind of Munich Vienna malts that we use in this, and really obviously playing on kind of that sweet maltiness. You get that on the nose. Obviously, you get that on the palate. One thing that we wanted to do is, some Meritzens for us are overly sweet, so we wanted to make sure that we kept this really well balanced. Obviously, give you that maltiness, but not too sweet. So we're really, really happy with the way this turned out. And our head brewer, Dave Thompson, who designs all of our beers, really loves creating and brewing lager beers. And so we let this sit for 45 days, which is for us a long period of time. But Dave really wanted it to have that time to lager. So we're really, really happy with it.
No, this is wonderful. I had to sample a can last night. I usually try and hold off until the show, but I had to sample one last night. Like these are my new jam. Last year I kind of discovered them. This year I really embraced them. And I normally don't like fall, but I like it for the beer now. But yeah, really nice, great aroma out of this.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, as you mentioned, a lot of these can get a little heavy on the malt, just really sweet. A lot of caramel, that kind of thing. This is scaled back really nicely as a nice clean lager.
Like I said, we're really lucky to have Dave Thompson on the team. Before, when my brother and I started, it was just us making the beer. And when we brought Dave onto the team, he's really taken over 100% and is making some really beautiful things. So we're really happy with this beer, and we were glad we were able to do it this year. So I see a couple comments. Am I allowed to address the comments?
Go nuts.
So
I see our friend Dave Palmer from Brewery Fire is joining us tonight, and some other
hi,
friends. Go ahead.
Laura. And
Oh
then
yeah.
yes, um, uh,
So
Irene. Yes, I am in a not a van,
in a
but
van down by the river.
I do my motivational speaking out of here. No, this is our I don't this is kind of our caravan here. It's just our beer trailer. So we do some music out of here. We haven't been able to use it much during COVID. Something we just created, but you'll see more and more of it um, as things open up a bit. So yeah, I'll turn around and show it to you.
Oh man, there you go.
Yeah, a little bit of a lounge area. So, um, my wife Kim, myself, and then Jake, who works with us, made this. So we just converted an old cargo trailer.
Love it. I think that needs to get parked outside the brewery and rented out on exclusive basis. I like that one.
Yeah, I like
Um,
that. That's a good idea.
Yeah. So yeah, friends, Irene, thanks, thanks for the comment. Wonderful, great, beer friends, from the community joining us, including Irene. If any of you are a member of the Maryland Beer Drinkers Club, you know Irene's daily posts about what's in your glass. She's awesome. I love that. Our friend Tamara is on. Esther, who's a huge sour fan. Is on today, and who says she's on her way back from Tonic Brewing on the East Coast. So thanks for listening in. And our friend Stephanie from Montgomery County is rocking some True Respite tonight. Um, so yeah, so Ken, you mentioned things started out early with just you and your brother, I believe, making the beer. What take us back to the beginning? What's the start of Monument City? How did that all that come about?
Yeah. Well, man, it probably goes back 20 years. I'm sure most people on the hey Chris. I'm sure most people on the show here or tuned in know of Brewers Art. But I moved up to Baltimore about 20 years ago, 21 years ago, and started drinking at Brewers Art and just really kind of fell in love with what they were creating there. You know, just an amazing experience to have beer made, 20 feet from you, and delicious beer at that, and so that really got me into brewing. I had a different career at the time, but really enjoyed brewing, learning, experimenting. Got my brother involved, who at the time was not quite of drinking age, but still got him involved from a learning perspective. And that was kind of that. I think 2009, 10, we started thinking seriously about it. And then 2014, after several years of research and planning, kind of brought Monument City to life. It really happened. Every year we would do kind of like a 10 or 15-day hike along the Appalachian Trail, just little sections of it. And my brother was working in Iraq at the time as a government contractor, and so he was home, and we decided, along that hike, don't go back. Let's see if we can, create beer, and if people will enjoy it. So that's what we did. So that's really our origin story, but it really started with kind of my experience at Brewers Art.
Yeah, I would agree, and that was 20 years ago. Was probably about the time that I discovered Brewers Art, because I was working in Baltimore at the time, and and yeah, somebody took me to Brewers Art probably about 2000, or so, and that's when I first discovered it. And I was like, oh, so this is what amazing Belgian beer is supposed to taste like, and some really good stuff there. I actually still have two or three unopened cans of Aussie sitting in my cabinet just as a keepsake. But yeah, they were solid because and at the time I wasn't even aware of like Sissons, but I knew of Brewers Art, and De Groen's was right around the corner from my office. And God, I still miss De Groen's, but yeah, I would agree. Like Brewers Art was really a wonderful gateway into Baltimore beer, back
Yeah,
then. So really great stuff. So
yeah.
the
DeGrom,
yeah,
I'm sorry, but speaking of DeGroens, they had one of their Meriton was unbelievable.
yeah,
It was one of my favorites that they did. But uh,
yeah,
but yeah, and what was really exciting for Matt and I is, we were able to eventually do a couple collaborations with Brewers Art, and once we got to know them, they're just such sweet people, and it made us kind of fall deeper in love with the Brewers Art experience. So yeah, they're just fantastic brands, and really enjoy what they do.
yeah. I
So
haven't. I mean, and I joked with your staff the other day about how it's if I lived any closer to Monument City, I would be a regular there. 5 days a week, I think, if not seven. And I was disappointed in myself that I haven't been to your brewery as frequently as I would like to. And Brewers Art is another one of those. It's like, man, I haven't been there in years. I really need to get back. So, you're inspiring me to go check it out again. um, but oh, there we go. Oh, we may have just lost Ken. Oh, I think he's going to dial back in. The trailer may have gotten him. Stephanie, or Steve, I guess, is actually you found the marble wit from Monument City in the fridge. Yeah, crack that open because man, that's probably not going to last as long as you think, but it's still going to be amazing. I know that. I'm checking to see who else is here. We mentioned Kendrick from Maryland Craft Beer. Um, we're I think Ken, you're back, but in black and white. Oh, he'll have to play with a camera setting. Oh, there he goes. Okay. Um, so yeah, so Kendrick says that Steve from Oliver is now brewing at Brewers Art or Brewers Art. So there you go.
yeah,
Um, and Ken, I don't know if you saw it. We have a viewer who found a can of some white marble wit from Monument City that they're about to crack open. So Steve and
nice.
Stephanie, definitely
Yeah,
let us know what you think of that one. And
yeah,
I
that
know
was
my
a fun
friend.
year too.
Oh, I'm sure. I know my friend Ben is probably watching as well, and he's actually become a new fan of yours. He discovered wood stove and he's gone down that rabbit hole. And I think if you've seen a graph of your sales jumping, it's because Ben discovered wood stove. Um, but yeah, so friends, that's an imperial stout. Is that what I'm?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, wood stove's an imperial stout, 10%. We do it basically start. It's in tanks now and run it usually through March. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, and we do some variations. We have about 40 barrels of it that we age anywhere from 10 to 12 months, and we release that annually. We did a coffee version of it last year, coffee and vanilla. I think this year we're just sticking um, with the standard and the barrel aged version.
Oh man, yeah, some of those variants were unbelievable. I was lucky enough to get my hands on a couple of those, and I mean I like it just normal anyway, but yeah, just to be able to get them all one upped from each other was awesome. So I love that one. And like I say, I know my
Ah, I
friend,
see.
got our friend Rob Goss
Yeah.
on from Whitey's Liquors, who carries a wide range of Monument City beers. They're at Whitey's in Linthicum Heights. Be sure to check them out. I know Rob just posted that up recently. The what's on his shelf. Um, so yeah, be sure to check them out. And our friend Greg Lee from Inverness Brewing says hello, is checking in and saying hello. And the Growers and Brewers Art are both awesome places to work. Greg Lee, one of the what godfather of Baltimore beer. I'm not sure what he's he's a
So I'm gonna say two things about some of your guests here. Rob, who we're really good friends with as well, who we're um, working on some fun stuff with that you'll be hearing about soon. So Rob's Christian, similar to you, has always been supportive of local craft beer and does a lot to help small breweries like us. And then Mr. Gregory Lee, probably the sweetest guy anyone will meet in the industry. Super talented brewer. If you guys haven't been to Inverness, you really should check him out. I saw, this is how nice Greg is. Greg brought us all bagel sandwiches this morning, which was quite nice of him, and he doesn't have to do that. And yeah, really great representation of what Maryland craft beers is all about. So
well,
good to see that.
yeah. And speaking of working with wonderful people in the industry, you guys have done some amazing collaborations in your time. And here, speaking, we've got Rob Goss on tonight, who has collaborated with you guys on what might be one of my favorite beers out there, the Bullseyes, which I was thrilled when I saw it come out again this year. I thought it was just a one and done, and I was so relieved to see you guys re-release it. Tell us the backstory on that one. I know a lot of people watching. That's a favorite of ours.
Yeah, I mean, it was actually really kind of funny. Rob texted me randomly one night with a picture of the Bullseyes candy and said, wouldn't this be great? I think at the time he said porter or brown ale. I can't remember which, but it wasn't a stout at the time. But he had this idea, wouldn't this be great? And I said, oh, it sounds great. I'll talk to the guys. And I kid you not, the following Monday, the CEO of Getz, who makes the Bullseyes, called me randomly. He had been to the brewery and just asked if he could come take a tour. He enjoyed himself, and that led to the next day, kind of everyone agreeing that we would make that beer. So it was really kind of funny how it came about. So yeah, it's a great beer, one that we've loved to do. Probably you won't see it again, in the next year, but there's some things Rob and I still have to work through with our other partner legally on that. So we're working on it, but we do have something else planned. So we'll still be able to do something with Rob this year as part of a larger series that we're doing. So it's going to be fun.
Oh man, excellent. Well, we talked about Wood Stove. We've mentioned 51 Rye, some of your flagships and things like that. Of course, the Bullseyes. What's your what's your best selling beer that you guys make?
Oh, 51 Rye. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's the beer that Matt and I made years before Monument City existed. It was really a way for us to kind of pay homage to the old Maryland rye whiskey scene, with that 51% of the grist, being rye, which when you're first starting out, and a lot of us that are passionate about this industry and creating these delicious beers, as home brewers, you get to do a lot of fun things that when you start to scale them commercially are a bit of a nightmare. And brewing anything with 51% rye, commercially is quite difficult. Although, again, our head brewer, Dave, he's got it down. There's no issues, obviously, but rye is a very tricky grain to deal with. So there's a little what's the word? Just lack of knowledge when you first start out, especially home brewing, which is kind of what I did. So, but 51 rye is still our biggest seller. It's almost 45% of our total volume. So wow. It's by far kind of our biggest seller. And then we get into, Pagoda Pale Ale and our Penchant Pilsner are kind of our top three.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't necessarily care for rye flavor. That being said, I have a bottle of Sagamore rye in my cabinet that I absolutely adore. But what I love about 51 rye is, I've had rye IPAs in the past, and you're right with that having that much rye in the grain, you end up with a lot of that like earthy flavor that I guess can be hard to control, or really easily overpower. The subtlety of the hops and the other malts that are in there, and that's one thing I really love about 51 rye is just very nice and smooth, but it has a great flavor to it that's unlike anything else. And man, just really nicely done. It's no surprise that that's a good seller. It's a wonderful beer.
Thank you.
So is there we talked about 20 years ago you starting out doing home brewing and things like that. Is there like a favorite style of beer that you like brewing?
That I like to brew or like to drink?
Well, we'll get to that as well. But is there one that you love brewing?
I'll be honest with you. I haven't brewed a thing since Dave came on board. But prior to that, I would say any type of like a Pilsner is even though it's not a lot of hops, obviously, pretty easy from a process perspective. Where Pilsners or any really lager, type beers come, where the challenge comes in is, we always, so for example, anytime I go to a new brewery, the first thing I try is, a Pilsner or a light lager, because you can quickly see, how well they keep their brewery, sanitary. So, you can see how about, how their, how good their, cleaning process and sanitation process is. So, but as far as brewing, the Pilsner was always an easy one.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Oh man. Well, I think I'm empty, so I need another beer.
And I do want to give a shout out to Mike on the line. Mike, also a phenomenal brewer, but did our draft system. So if you haven't been to our brewery since COVID, we put in a whole new draft system that Mr. Mike Perunsky did for us. So thank you, Mike. And yes, they're doing fantastic. I just cleaned them last Friday, every 2 weeks. So
yeah, friends, if you haven't been to Monument City's tap room in a while, go check it out. I was amazed. I love the new bar setup. It has a wonderful wraparound now. It looks like you have some new seating and things like that. It was always a cool space, but now it's just even more so. So what do you say, or what beer should we do next?
Let's hit Melody Caravan.
Love it. Okay. So, friends,
So my
this is the second beer that we're drinking tonight. The first one, if you're just joining us, the first one was Folkfest, the Meritzen, that just released. You can find that at local retailers near you and around the state. The second one that we're doing is Melody Caravan, their new hazy IPA that is newly released. We'll crack this open in the. I have to ask while I'm opening this, just as a side note, is there a reason you guys went with the blue pull tabs?
Well, yeah, we thought it matched the artwork.
Oh, okay.
No, most of you know on the phone, like we'll give you some transparency here. There's cans and lids shortages all over the place. Our last pallet of lids actually came in with these blue tabs, and they didn't have.
I wondered that.
Yeah.
I wondered if that was the reason, was just the shortage. But oh man, so friends, as you can see, this is a nice hazy IPA, just like great color to it. That's one thing I love. God, the aroma is fantastic. Oh man. So yeah, let me see.
Yeah, so I can talk a little bit about this beer was. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. No, I was looking to see if it said on the can. I was going to read it while you were drinking. Go ahead.
So this beer was inspired by the lounge here, but my sister-in-law did this artwork for us, and she's done quite a few labels for us. But yeah, we just Nobo and Sobo are kind of the two beers as far as hazy IPAs that we're known for. We don't really send them out into market much anymore. They're primarily brewery releases. But this is something that we wanted to brew and send out into distro. And that's one reason we kind of went with the 12-ounce can on this. Like I said, Dave Thompson has done a phenomenal job, creating these beers. And my favorite IPA that he does is our Among the Pines, which is kind of a traditional, West Coast-ish double IPA. But this one is quite nice. And what Dave really wanted to do on this is combine a little bit of the West Coast IPA with kind of the New England style. So he created this 6.2% IPA. We use El Dorado and Citra, which are kind of your standard kind of tropical type hops, but then he mixed in Cascade and Columbus to kind of give it a little bit of that West Coast flair. So you get, some citrus rind on it, a little bit of tropical fruit on the nose, and then a little bit of pine in the finish. So we're really, really stoked about this beer. It's something, I know Dave and the team talked about for a long time. When we come up with beers, we all sit around with a beer and just start talking about what we want each beer to be, from, the color to the ABV, aroma, mouthfeel. Dave has done a fantastic job kind of taking all those inputs and creating, these beautiful beers. So yeah, we're really, really happy with this. And like you said, this was just canned this week and started hitting market yesterday.
Nice. Yeah, friends, go pick this one up. This is fantastic. A lot of these can go a little funky with some of the hops. You've used hops that are just awesome on their own. Any one of those as a single hop series is amazing. To put them all in the same glass is fantastic. But yeah, you're getting definitely a lot of fruit in the nose. Definitely some citrus in there. Some grapefruit, a little bit of lemon, maybe like some mango or something like that, or passion fruit with it. Just a little mild to it. But yeah, it's got that great pine that I love, because I'm a huge I'm an IPA guy, but I love the West Coast IPAs. And so this is like right up my alley. A lot of these can go just really crazy, juicy, just tastes like a, like a milkshake smoothie, that kind of thing. And this has that like nice bitterness to it along with the fruit. And man, really, really like this one. As Rob said earlier, it's the bomb. And yeah, it is. Friends, take like go out tomorrow and find this can, and go pick it up. If you don't see Monument City at your local retailer, ask for it. Um,
Yeah,
Man,
please
no,
ask
that's
for it.
fantastic. That is
Um,
fantastic.
but yeah, again, what's amazing to me, and again, I'm sure it's like this for Greg or others that are in the industry that create beers, is to kind of take these concepts as you're sitting around creating, and then for the team to be able to kind of execute on them and come up with something beautiful like this is really fun to see, and we're quite proud of what they do on the brew side. So
Well, I love I somebody there, or maybe your entire group has a wonderful palate. I've often been told that I have a very good palate. Like a sommelier friend of mine says that he envies my palate, and so apparently I'm tasting things that others don't. But what I love about Monument City is, you've put out a whole line of IPAs and pale ales. Um, of course, Nobo Sobo. We've got, we're sitting here on like three new hazies. You've got Pagoda. Um, Among the Pines. I love the Waterways series. Everything like that. And a lot of breweries aren't able to pull that off, and every one of those beers has a very distinct flavor to them that is different than the others. And that's one thing I really love about all of your beer, is that every one, there's no like sameness to them. Um, they are IPAs in recipe, but the flavors are all very unique to each one. And um, and that's one thing I've always had a lot of respect for Monument City for doing, is just making these really amazing, wonderful tasting beers.
thank you. Yeah, no, we appreciate that. I mean, that means a lot to us. I would say, we always want our beers to be unique and different. Otherwise, we would just keep making the same one over and over. But I think, you know, it's interesting because, people that, get into this industry, or really any industry, there is a passion and a love for it. And it's a beautiful thing to see just the dedication to creating something new. So, I really am happy, and I'll make sure I share with our team tomorrow. There's a lot of thought making sure that this doesn't taste like the last one, and to make sure that there's something different. And it may be subtle, but Dave's idea of kind of combining this West and New England or East Coast style IPA was quite thoughtful, and we love what it turned out to be. So it's it warms the heart to hear other